Hey guys, a little bit early. Anyway, got out here and brought my computer out with me today, so I'll be the first live off my computer. Uh, just I've got some beaver hides here pulled out of the freezer, but they're not completely thawed yet, so it didn't have anything to put up today but a muskrat, and that didn't take long. So thought we'd just do a chat tonight. See if anybody. Hey, Michael's on here. Hey, buddy, internet veteran. I've been doing good, man. You? This season has been my first season, man. It's making me feel my age. I always been just go, 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 and this year everything is really wearing down on my body. But keeping up pretty well so far. I don't know. I probably got a stack of. I'm gonna say probably pretty close to 20 beaver hides over there in the stack, and then you got these few hanging up behind me. Probably got I don't know another 10 or so in the freezer. I try to get caught up. Before I started doing the YouTube channel, I was able to, check my line in the morning, whatever catch I made that day, I'd get put up that evening. And then the next evening, I'd come in, hang it up on a board and dry. I just kind of had a rotation going. YouTube put a big damper on that. But that being said, I'm enjoying this YouTube stuff too. So learning a lot. Looks like we got 7 or 8 people in here now. But anyway, these hides weren't unfrozen yet, so I thought we'd try to do a chat tonight if I can get it figured out. Well, we're saying we got some pretty good rain coming in my area and where I'm at now. Drainage ditches that I trap, it's constant water up and down, so it makes it hard to be a water trapper. You're constantly fighting that water. After this rain, it's liable to rise. I mean, anywhere between 8 and 2 foot, 3 foot, 4 foot. Then you have to wait for a week or so for it to go back down to get to your sets or get more sets put in. So it's always a hassle. I appreciate it, Internet Veteran. This YouTube thing, when I first started it, well, YouTube for me was always like an encyclopedia. So, if I needed to do something, I would go to YouTube, look up, search how to do it, and watch somebody else do it. It's kind of a learning curve. I always looked at it as a new encyclopedia. And then last Christmas, my wife and daughter, they've been on me for a while. I should do a YouTube channel or like that show alone, be on that show alone. They think I'd do good. So they bought me a GoPro for Christmas last year. So well, I'll give it a try. I'll try this YouTube thing. And those first 2 or 3 videos I did, it almost didn't happen. It took me, and I didn't know the internet that well, so it took me forever. It took me 3 days to get those first couple of videos, figure out how to get them to my computer, how to get them edited, how to get them uploaded. It just took forever. I didn't have the right equipment out there recording, so I was dropping the camera. It was really frustrating trying to get going. I almost gave up on it. I'm glad I didn't. But then, real quick, after those first couple of videos, I realized, hey, this is it's like a written journal of my life, but it's video recording of what I like to do. And I realized real quick, it's just a document. And how cool is it that my great 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 grandkids are going to be able to go back and watch their great 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 grandpa set traps. There may not be anybody in between them that traps in my legacy until that point, and then they'll be able to come back and watch the way I do it. So that's really kind of the reason I'm still doing it. And I set a goal to do it for one full season of my trap line. So like 1 full year, I was going to record every morning I was out there, record all my outdoor activities, and come first of the year, I'll be right at a year, and I'm going to have to reevaluate this filming every day on the line, coming home, editing, trying to keep up with the fur. It's all just me doing it; no one else is doing it, so it's really wearing on me. But I'm definitely going to reach that goal and get it all recorded for a full season. And man, I never would have imagined the following and the people that are interested. like you guys that are following along, keeping up with me, kind of vested in it. Well, just the YouTube. I didn't have any idea how to do YouTube. Just the YouTube community itself is pretty amazing. Uh, and the guys that support you and watch your videos and comment and help get you out there. So it's been a really amazing experience for me. Frank, hello. Doing good, man. Just not don't have any fur to put up tonight, so I thought we'd try to do it live. Oh yeah, not giving up. That's something I've always had a problem with. I set my mind to getting something done. I'm gonna figure out how to do it. But aggravation is usually what causes me to quit something if I was to quit it. Yeah, Michael, I don't know any other way to do it. I've followed, for years now, I followed some other YouTubers and kind of watched the way they done things. And one thing, another deciding factor of me doing my channel was, I've been trapping for right about 10 years now. And up until I started YouTube, guys, I only knew 2 or 3 other trappers in my tri-county area, and they were all way off. And the YouTube channels that I was watching, I could get the basics from them, but none of them was trapping these drainage ditches like I trap. So a lot of their sets, a lot of the stuff I was seeing on YouTube, it wasn't working for me because it was a different environment, different area. So that's kind of one reason I wanted to get on here too, is just to show my drainage ditch area and how I trap it, how I set up for it. And the only way I know to do it is to talk. I basically say what I'm thinking as I'm doing it, and then again, not having anybody in my area, knowing anybody else that trapped. I've never been on a trap line with someone that knows more about trapping than I do. That may be fixing to change because of YouTube. I'm meeting some other trappers across the U.S. and hopefully we can get some plans together to make something happen. And I can actually go with some other trappers and learn. I'm always learning too, guys. I mean, that's the thing about my channel. Hey, Donnie, glad you're here, man. That's the thing about my channel is I'm always learning. I'm always changing things up. It's just, I don't know. It's what I like about trapping. You're never going to reach a finish line. It's just a constant learning, doing. I don't know, and that's always something that's been interesting to me. Yeah, that's possible, Internet Veteran. I've thought about that. And I may do it. My problem with that is, though, when I got into this, I had to go buy the computer I used overseas when I was in Iraq. I got it out to start doing the YouTube stuff, and it was all outdated. None of it worked. I couldn't get anything to work, so I had to go buy a new computer. And of course, I didn't want to spend a whole lot of money on it, and I didn't buy one with a lot of data. I could just buy me a hard drive, I guess. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm going out filming every morning. I'm coming home. When I get home, I'll go in, download my videos to my computer, edit them, get it up ready to go for the next morning on YouTube. And then I have to delete everything off of my computer, all the pictures, all the videos, everything I just did. I have to delete it off of my computer to be able to do it the next morning, just to have the memory. And again, it's probably because I don't know what I'm doing. These computers definitely not my thing, but I need a bigger memory system to be able to hang on to a lot of stuff for a long time. And I do have some YouTube videos, just us out, family outings that I haven't made public, private, just for my future generations to look back on. So yeah, it's definitely a possibility. Judith and Dan, hey man, glad you guys made it. Watched your video today. You've been doing good. That's a little hot spot you got. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to hop in a boat with a good friend of mine. He called me earlier asking questions. He's been duck hunting over on the river, and he's been seeing a lot of castor mounds. And the way he talked, it reminded me of that place you were trapping right now. And I've always known that river holds a lot of fur over there, but I've just never been able to please my farmers and get away from all the farmland that I've got access to now. I've never been able to get all that done, make time to get over there to the river and trap that. But he called me asking me a bunch of questions about it. Seemed like he was interested in trapping. So I thought, hey, come hop in with me tomorrow, run my line with me. When we get done, we'll hop in your boat, go over there and look. We may can use some of my traps. You know, you just got to commit to checking them every day. We'll use some of my traps, make a few sets, and you go over there and check them every day. You know, maybe can I get a new trapper here excited about it doing. So I'm looking forward to it. I've always wanted to do a river line. I've never taken the time to do it. If I get over there and see a ton of sign, that's going to get me excited about it and make me make time to get over there and make it happen. Also got our Arkansas Trappers Association president here in this area. He's contacted me. He traps another river west of me, lives right there close by it, and we're going to try to work something out where me and him get together when he gets some vacation time and go over there and just actually work that river for a little bit. You know, pair up, work together, and do a little line on the river over there. So that's some stuff I'm looking forward to this year that I hadn't done in the past. Brian, man, how are you guys doing? Brian's rode around me a few times. He just missed that coyote the other day. You guys may have seen him in my video with me. When I had the girls, I had Brian and then my niece, my nephew with me. And they rode that day. And then the very next day I guess we had an otter there at that dam that morning. And then that very next day we had a coyote caught in that trap. And of course, everybody's excited wanting to, you know, the otters, the beavers, all that stuff's cool, man. But everybody wants to see a bobcat and a coyote. Now, we'll make it happen. Hey, KY Prepper. And I appreciate that. Yeah, you guys hit that thumbs up if you hadn't already. I'm not good at that either, that promoting the channel. My Facebook page and YouTube both. I've sent out very few friends requests on my Facebook page. I just want to keep it real, guys. I don't want to be popular. I don't care anything about being popular. I just want to get people interested in trapping. I mean, I love it so much. I don't want to see it go away. Man, Judith and Dan, I've got so many spots. That's another thing too. It wouldn't hurt my feelings at all if I was having to compete with somebody with these beavers. You know, the watershed district, they pay me to trap all the watersheds. There's several cities around that pay me to keep their beavers under control. And honestly, with me just trapping deer and trapping season, I can't keep up with it all. I've tried in the past to get some young guys that show interest. I've given them areas. Hey, here's the beaver, go get them. And there's just been nobody that's had the work ethic to stick to it and go back day after day to get them caught. You know, it goes back to, you know, can't find good help. So it wouldn't hurt my feelings if some people in my area started trapping. I mean, I could put them on beaver and I wouldn't have a problem at all with it because I physically by myself can't get to them all. Yeah, Frank, I've thought about that. I've got a old, I guess it's a passport external hard drive, and I'm storing all my videos that I make onto that thing. I've used it when I was overseas too, and it's about out of memory, so I'm gonna have to get another one. And to keep all that stuff together. But you know, like internet veteran was saying earlier, I may get me another one, and when it gets to the point where you know, if I decide when this year rolls around, if I decide that I'm not going to do the videos every day like I'm doing now, I may be able to just film them, you know, put them back, and then, which even summertime, guys, I'm always going. I'm always doing something. It's hard to sit still and do. I'm not one to sit in front of the TV and just kill time. There's always something to do, but I can make time, you know, at another time and maybe put my season out during the summer or something. But yeah, when the time, I just want to hit a year, and then when that rolls around, we'll figure something else out. Yeah, Judith and Dan, we're still really dry here. That one ditch that I'm trapping, where I picked up all the otter. If you guys noticed, Dan picked up on it, but not otter, the muskrats, all those muskrats got white tipped tails. I guess it's just that colony of them there. That ditch, every time I trap that ditch, I pick those white tail muskrats up out of there. But that ditch is really the only one around me that's got water in it. The only reason it's holding water is because there's an older beaver dam downstream a little bit. I think I showed it in one of my scouting videos. It was completely dry, but the dam was still there. So that's the reason that's holding all that water up in there where I've got those mink sets at and stuff. But everywhere else is still dry. I mean, all the ditches they might have a little bit of water running the bottom of it, but everything's pushed over to that river right now. Unless there's, an existing colony that's holding water, you got to pick stuff up there. But other than that river is where all the fur's at right now. So I'm kind of excited about getting over there and checking that out tomorrow. Dan, are you weighing your beavers? That's something I've not really ever done is weighed a lot of my beavers. That big one I pulled out of that hole the other day, I think what it weighed, 58 pounds, I think is what it was. And then I went ahead and weighed that beaver I caught yesterday there where I found that buckhead in that buckhead dam. And that beaver weighed 53 pounds. I think 53 and a half is what it showed. There's another big one. The one that rung out was as big as that first one, too. It's going to be a big beaver as well. Yeah, me too, Dan. I mean, just like I said, the 10 years I've been doing it up until I started YouTube, I didn't know any other trappers around my area. And I've got one young guy that hit me up last year asking a bunch of questions, but never really got into it. But this year, he's really excited about it, and he's got him a lot of property lined up, and he's actually running him a line right now. So it's cool to see that. Hey Melvin, I've been noticing your comments and everything on my pages. Are you Kim the Cody kid? My wife's got a good friend she used to work with, and they ended up moving to Ohio to be closer to his family, to Cody's family. That's her husband. And I was just curious if possibly you're part of that same family or not. I asked her the other day. I don't even know what Odyssey is, Judith and Dan. Odyssey channel. Yeah, so I've never even heard of Odyssey. This internet stuff, guys. I mean, up until I started doing this in January, I didn't. I mean, I'm lost to all this. I'm still learning. Every time I get on here, I learn something new. Michael, I do. I'm back a few years ago. Why am I spending money buying casters? So I just grind up my own, just a real basic mixture, and that's usually what I use. Judith and Dan, when they come up a month or so ago, he brought some of his caster and gave to me, and then I've had some other folks since I started the channel. I've got a box here from Bass Brothers Lures. They sent me a box of this stuff, a box of their lures to try. And it's looks like we got most of it's beaver lure, but I've got some he's got some bobcat lure in here too. I hadn't broke it out to use yet, but I'm gonna be using some of that. Before when I was buying lure, I really liked backbreaker caster lure. It's probably if I was gonna buy a commercial one, the backbreaker would probably be my favorite. But since I catch so many beaver, it really doesn't make sense. I mean, I can use their oil sacks or the caster, either one, on the beavers that I'm harvesting and putting up every night. I can just save some of that, and I can use that as an attractant on my sets, and not have to, just cut costs, not have to spend that money on it. 62, that's a big beaver, man. That 62 pounds is a real big beaver. Hey, Ruger Farming, thanks for joining. Yeah, I hadn't done a lot of lives. I'm still trying to kind of figure them out. This is really the first one I've just sat down and talked and not been trying to work through it. I thought when I first started doing them, I thought I could do some videos out here in the fur shed while I was working, just do them live and be able to explain what I'm doing while I'm in the fur shed. Didn't really work real well because I couldn't keep up with the chat. I may try it if I get some time. I may try to figure that out a little bit more. But thanks for joining us. Appreciate the support. Oh, Melvin, yeah, that that was crazy. That guy that was with me, he's a good friend, been a good friend for a long time, and we work really well together. And I was sure glad to have him with me that morning. Thinking about it, I don't know what I would have done if he wouldn't have been with me. The only thing I can figure is staking that cable back out and where he couldn't, you know, pull back in it any farther into the hole any farther, and just grab my shovel and start digging down to him. I mean, I guess that's what I would have had done or do, or get on the phone and call some help. But yeah, I tell you, I've never had one that was dug in like that one was. I think what happened is when it went back up in the hole, there was kind of a turn and a corner, and I think that trap was dug into the corner of that hole because that cable was built back, turned back around that hole toward that dam. And when I first started, tugging on it, I couldn't. I didn't feel any movement, any tugging back against me until I got, up in that other hole right there at him. That's when I first started feeling him tugging back. And I think that may have been because I kind of jarred that trap loose out of the side of that dirt. But even after that, I mean, it was me and him playing tug of war. I'd pull him out 8 inches or so, and he'd gain it right back. I mean, that was crazy. Okay, Melvin. Yeah, the last name spelled the very same. He's got a big family up there in Ohio. So I was just thinking you might have been Ken. I wanted to ask while we were on here. I'll have to check it out, Judith and Dan. I'll get a chance. I'll get on there and check it out. You say once you do a YouTube video, upload it to YouTube, it automatically goes to that Odyssey. I tell you what, though, just having the YouTube platform and the Facebook platform, it's getting now to where I'm getting a lot of comments, a lot of questions, and I've been trying to keep up with them all and answer everybody. But if it gets to be much more, I'm just not going to be able to take the time to do that. I still want to try to read them, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to take the time to actually comment back to everybody. How far? You close to the river, Melvin, or are you over on the eastern side? Ottercat, hey buddy, welcome. All I caught this morning was a little old muskrat. Well, that's a lie. I caught a blue herring too. I had to turn it loose, but the only thing I brought home with me was a muskrat, and it didn't take me about 10 minutes to get him skin scraped, and put on the board. So didn't have any. I've got some beaver hides here thawing out of the freezer, but they're not going to be thawed enough to put up. So I thought we'd just sit out here and do a YouTube chat. So thanks for joining us, man. Yeah, Judith, I dry all my castor. I've never tried any with green castor. If you guys can see right up here behind me, I've got my fan. Well, you can see the fan turning too. And right up here behind me, I've got that wire stretched across there, and I've got all my castor. Of course, this time of year, it's not real full. None of them have been full of castor, but the prices of it is still worth drying, even though small and empty sacks. I still put them up, dry them out. That's the way I always made mine too. I dry it out and then blend it up, just mix a few things with it to preserve it and go. Yeah, Ruger farming. I'm still new to this. Not even a year. This YouTube, internet, all this stuff's real new to me. But I found Iowa Trapper and got to getting on his lives and some other guys that were doing lives. And man, there's definitely not anybody around here that I can just invite over to my skin and shed, sit around, talk trapping with. So it's pretty cool to get on here and see everybody interact and ask questions and learn things. And it's a pretty good platform to have. There he is right there. You get talking about him and he shows up. What do you mean, Frank? Otters having a stick? I'm not sure I understand. I may have missed something. I didn't know otters had a stick. I wish you would have done a flesh and skin and boarding on it. I've got a couple otters. The one right there, that big one I caught the other day, he's right there drying now. I hadn't watched your video yet. Did you hit the number you were wanting? Did you get your 900? I hope you did, buddy. I think you guys had some distemper up there too, hadn't you? Maybe part of the problem why you had some slow days. Ah, epic fail, man. There's no such thing, man. I tell you what wasn't an epic fail, and I know it was one of your goals, and that's your YouTube channel, getting other trappers involved and in chats. Just like you're the reason I'm in here doing this chat live right now, man. Uh, there's no fails. There's just learning and doing, man. I hate that you missed that goal, but man, it's definitely not a fail. I tell you, beavers have been kind of weird this year too, man. I mean, with the drought that we've had, all the ditches are dry. You got to think about it different. All those beavers have pushed over to a big river back east of me, and actually tomorrow I'm going to go hop in a boat, drive that river, and I'm pretty sure that's where all the beavers are going to be. Uh, Talking to a guy duck hunting over there, and he said there's castor mounds everywhere. He's actually seen a mink swimming and a muskrat swimming right beside the boat. So there ain't a doubt in my mind. A lot of my beaver, which a lot of my beavers are problem beavers with farmers already pinpointed. The places I've been are places I trap every year, and of course I'm not going to go into those places and catch a colony full, 10, 12 beaver out of it in a week. I'm just picking up one or two in a week. So unless it's one of those areas, they've moved. It's different for me too. Oh, gotcha. I'll tell you what, otters are, Frank. I see what you're saying. Yeah, otters got a gland. I don't. A lot of the other animals, doing a skunk, you'll hit a gland, or a mink, you'll hit a gland. The otters, I don't really notice me hitting their gland as much. But otters just stink. Otters are probably the least favorite thing that I put up. They just smell like. I heard somebody describe it one time as, say you're out fishing on a 95-degree hot summer day, and you fill your ice chest halfway with fish, and you get home and your wife's got chores for you to do, so you just leave the ice chest sitting in the boat, and then something comes up that night and you forget about it. And the next day you go out there to your ice chest, all your ice is melted. You open the cooler up and you just get that stink. That's what otters smell like when you're skinning them. It's just horrible. You get them on your hands and you smell them for 2 or 3 days after you skinned one, and they're about the hardest to scrape for me too. I mean, it's not difficult. It's just out of everything, they seem to be the hardest, to get all that muscle and tendons and stuff off of. How are you gonna switch over? Are you still after specifically coons, or are you start gonna try to catch some other fur now? Ah, man, we'll see in a little bit. Yeah, I think a lot of gun Ruger. I think there's a lot of gun seasons coming. Ours has been in. I think November 10th is when our gun season come in here in Arkansas for most of the state. But I think a lot of other states are just now deer gun seasons coming in. I got me a couple of decent bucks. I've been holding out, and but I got in my mind that I wanted to pressure cook, jar a deer and pressure cook the whole thing. And so I decided, the first pretty decent buck I seen I was going to shoot, and that was that one I did the video on where my gun misfired and I ended up having to track him for 2 or 3 hours. Uh, I wasn't sure how that GoPro would do the recording, but I think I got some pretty decent footage out of it. My other buck would have been a really nice 8 point there at that same spot, and but one side of his rack was broke off. I was sitting on the ground, And actually, about 10 minutes before I shot him, I seen another young buck come through. Had a pretty nice rack, but he only had one side of his rack, a young deer, and one side was broke off. I let him walk, and then 10 minutes later, this nice buck come out. But when I seen him, I seen the mass of his horns, and he stopped right behind he had his head right behind a tree, so I couldn't see his horns. And but I had a shot at his shoulder, so I took that shoulder shot. He only ran about 60 yards, and boy, I was excited. I got up there to him. He had his good side up. I grabbed him by the good side to pull him up, get a good look at him, and that other side was broke off. So real quick, it was kind of a disappointment, but then immediately, man, it's excitement. I've got him at the guy getting it clean now. So it's pretty cool. Nice little break off, pretty cool little area. I'm kind of excited about seeing how it's going to look when it's done. Yeah, Judith and Dan. It doesn't really bother me anymore. The otter smell or the skunk smell. It's just, to me, it's almost pleasing because it means I'm out here working in the fur shed. I like it, but yeah, they definitely got that odd fish smell. Good luck, Ruger. I hope you get the one you're after. Frank, I don't even know if I'd really call it a stink. I guess it's just because them eating, the fish and everything. It's just a really strong fishy smell. Definitely not like a skunk. It definitely doesn't stink like a skunk stinks. Hey, Dallas Shepherd, welcome. Good deal on your skunk, man. Those things are all. Even after you skin a bunch of them, you're still worried about hitting that scent gland. They're always kind of sketchy when you're skinning them. That's cool that you picked that up from one of Iowa's videos. Was able to get it done. Now you got an idea, and the next one will be a lot easier. Look who's here. Meat Traver. Hey, buddy, I'm glad you could join us. Hope all's going well with you. Hadn't made it over to, well, I scrolled through Telegram earlier, but been spending some time with the family, and I'm trying to stay off my phone. Yeah, I'm getting a few put up. I probably got I don't know. I've got a stack of probably about 20 of them over here dried already. The beavers. I think I've got about 8 or 10 muskrats put up, and let's see. There's 4 otter hanging over here, and I got the one behind me, so 5 otter already. A couple of them were caught early and are a little bit blue, but I appreciate it. Robin Bray, welcome. I'm in Northeast Arkansas, outside of Jonesboro area, up on Crowley's Ridge. Yeah, I think that's kind of where a lot of people get a start at. Especially here in Arkansas in the farm country. As a kid, that's really up until I got really interested in putting the fur up and catching a lot of fur. I mean, that's really the only trapping I did too, was just, the coons or the foxes that were getting in the chicken pens, or, going out spotlighting a coyote at night that was chasing cows, or using a squeal call, a rabbit call to call them up or something. But, but yeah, I enjoy it, man. I wished I would have found this trapping a long time, which my dad trapped in the 80s. He got in on that 80s fur boom. I was a really young kid going with him, and of course enjoyed going with him, but I wasn't picking up any little tidbits of information. And then I was on up in age before I decided that I wanted to get after it. And honestly, the reason I started trapping was just as a food source, just seeing the way the world's going and how bad things are. I got to think, everybody's got grandpa's old 22, whether they're a deer hunter or not, and the deer aren't going to last long. So I got to think, hey, what's this trapping thing? I could put a trap out, catch my food, and still be doing something else. So that's kind of the reasons I got into it. And once I got into it, I fell in love with it, and just kept at it. Yeah, Ruger Farm and otters are some really nice hides. I had some tanned last year, but I gave them away to the FFA programs in my area, the school kids. Our FFA directors and a couple of our schools are members of our Trappers Association here, and they're getting some programs together to introduce their kids to trapping, and so they were looking for some fur put up, and I donated all my tan hides to those schools. I appreciate it, Meat Trapper. A bunch of the guys, which I've just started these lives, but several of the guys have jumped on in the past. Frank, there's nothing to it, man. There's a lot of YouTube videos you can look up. Some guys that do a real good job skinning those skunks. I haven't put any videos up of it yet. That gland, I think Iowa's got a trap. Actually, I think I saw one of his videos where he, just completely cuts that gland out of it, so you don't have to worry about going around it. Getting started, that's probably the best way to do it. A lot of times when I'm after my skunks, I collect the essence. I'll use a syringe and just pull all the essence out of it before I skin it, which is still going to stink if you hit that sack. But you just got to jump in and do one. You probably want to take it if you skin inside a shop like I do. You're probably going to want to take it outside to do it. Definitely don't do it in the garage of your house or anywhere that your wife may be visiting in a month. But yeah, it's not too hard. It's just getting over that unknown and doing a couple and getting comfortable with it. Dallas, I guess the advice I'd have someone that's never done it, just get you a good pair of boots and just start walking those ditches. That's the way I started out when I started trapping. I just walk those ditches and just look. You'll see holes in the bank and then try to figure out what kind of animal made that hole. Was it a coon? Was it a mink? Was it a muskrat? Those dams. Just getting out and doing it. I mean, that's really the best advice I can give you. I've got a little pull behind. I guess I don't know what kind of sled it is. Just a little old cheap. I don't see it laying around. It's just a little plastic sled that I've tied a rope to the front of, and I can throw all my equipment in that sled and just pull it behind me on the ditch as I'm walking the bottom of it. Just take you a mixed bag of traps. Some 1.5s for coons and minks and muskrats, some 110s if you want to set some of those holes. Carry a few bigger traps if you want to try to catch a otter or meat trappers on here, man. I tell you one thing that's overlooked in the trapping community that is easy is snares. There's no weight to them. Meat trappers got a lot of videos on that, on the snares and stuff. Those snares are overlooked. I mean, there's no weight to them. They're easy to pack in. You can pack a bunch of them in, and you can set for all kinds of animals with that one snare. And you can set it multiple ways. Yeah, good waders, Otter Cat. There you go. There's no such thing, man. That's all marketing BS. Good waders. I think this last pair lasted me 4 days. Man, I'm getting way behind on chat, guys. I'm sorry. Yeah, the FFA kids. We've got 3 big school districts right around my area, and those guys, those teachers are doing an awesome job promoting trapping. We're trying to set up some trapping classes with them, and actually even talked to them last time we had a meeting about doing a ride along. Maybe them pick a couple of students from each school to come out with me on a weekend and ride my trap line with me. And they can set a couple of their own sets, maybe make their own catches. That's something we're working on, trying to get some kids interested in it. Yeah, PA 330 is an awesome trap. But I tell you what, those snares, I kind of put them off for a long time, and they're a good tool to have. I like snares. Hey, David, thanks for joining, man. Yeah, I've tried to tan. I've tanned some hides. I've done some of my own hides in the past, but man, that's a process. It's a long process you got to be committed to, and I never done it enough to really learn shortcuts and getting it done. Uh, to me, it was just too time consuming for me to stick with and get them done. Uh, so that's something I hadn't really done. Robin, when I first started, the first couple of years, I was just catching critters, and then I decided, hey, I want to start putting some up. Just kind of watch some YouTube and just started doing it. And I tell you, I really enjoy being almost as much as I do running traps. I enjoy being out here in the trap shed, putting the fur up. And when you get it done, it's really enjoyable for me being out here handling that fur. Uh, it's a big learning curve. It's when I first started, it'd take me all afternoon to put up two or three animals, and even into the next day. Now I can come out here and skin a pile of beaver, in no time and get a lot of them put up that night. It's just the more I've done, the faster I've gotten, and now it's not that big of a deal anymore. No doubt, Ruger. The best lessons are always the hard. Well, I mean, look at it this way. Excuse me. There's no way you can learn. There's no way you can progress and get better at something unless you fail at something. Someone, if I'm ever talking to someone that knows everything, uh, I don't talk to them very long because nobody knows everything, and life is a constant journey of learning. You can't have. There would be no good if you didn't have bad. There would be no happy if you didn't have sad. Uh, so yeah, there would be no learning without getting out and having those hard lessons taught to you. And the only way you can learn those hard lessons is just jumping in, not being afraid, and jumping in and doing it. That's right, Frank. Just one jerk, get it done over with because you know it's coming, and move on. I saw that, David. I saw you talking about that on Telegram channel. I've got a cat. Somebody had. I don't know if you guys seen my video where somebody threw a bunch of limbs out the other day. That old couple was just out in the middle of nowhere, threw those limbs out. I was going to move them because I knew she'd be going to work, and I realized that somebody actually threw them out in the middle of that county road blocking the driveway. But somebody's threw a bunch of cats out. I guess two or three different people have threw cats out because I've got a pregnant one that's got babies right now. I left the house the other day and no kidding lined up across my road from I guess the neighbors feeding them from their house across their yard, across the road into my pasture. There was like 16 cats lined up every like 10 foot, just sitting there in a straight line. But that's something when I get a chance, got these traps in the truck and I got time, I'm going to be handling that problem. I tell you what, I don't look at snares as being single use. I can once my snare's done, I've got ground anchor cable. I've got extension cable. I can cut those useful parts off of that snare and reuse almost every piece of that snare. And then the cable itself I can reuse as a ground anchor or an extension cable. You just gotta buy some ferrules and buy some tools and know how to work that cable. And man, snares are definitely not single use for me. Oh, that is sad, Robin. Man, I didn't realize what FFA was going away. Home ec back when we were school. The girls had the home ec. That's been gone for a long time now. But FFA is really still a big deal here in our area, which we're still pretty rural and where we're at. But all the schools around here still got FFA programs. That's sad that in your area it doesn't. No, definitely, Drew and Dan. That's kind of where I'm at too with snares. A lot of times I'll get an issue with snapped. Like I got one that rung out the other day. That one's going to be a hard one to catch. I actually pulled all my traps out of there this morning, and I'm gonna leave it unset for a couple of weeks. Hopefully, let them get back in their regular routine. I'm gonna go back in there and try to catch them. It's gonna be a pretty good colony in there, and all I've caught is that one adult beaver is all I pulled out of there. It may be fun trying to get the rest of them out. Dallas, that's one thing I've learned, this trapping community that I picked up from, man, it is a great group of guys. It really is a small community, and girls and gals. These last few years, you're really starting to see a lot of female trappers. I don't remember. I probably heard some statistics, but that area is growing. The females getting into trapping, and that's good because the trapping community is small. These videos I've been putting up on trapping, my views, I'll get some views on them, but I put one video up. My highest viewed video is a deer hunting video I put up. I was thinking about that earlier today. If the trapping community had the backing of the deer community or the duck community or the turkey community had, we wouldn't be worried about it going away. Yeah, I'm getting way behind on chat, guys. I'm sorry. Let me try to catch up real quick. No, it is OtterCat. Finishing fur is fun. If I miss anybody, guys, just chat again. I'm gonna try to scroll through and get caught back up. You guys are way ahead of me. Brian, there's some guys around here. Get with me. I may can get you in contact. There's some guys in our area that they've got the thermal and the night scopes, and they go out and hunt. And that's one reason coyote market being down right now. I'm not going to target them. I know those guys are out there killing them at night, so not a big deal. Ruger, the reason I'm an Arkansas trapper. When I got into trapping, I wanted to catch everything. All kinds of animals. It didn't matter to me what it was. I wanted to catch it. But what ended up happening in my area, the biggest nuisance animal, I'm in farming country, drainage ditches, and watershed lakes. I live on top of a big ridge, and on both sides of me, it drops down into flat farm country, all the way to the Mississippi River, all the way to the Ozarks. So my biggest nuisance animal in my area was beaver. And once people started hearing that I was trapping, that's the people that were calling me, hey, I've got problems with beaver. I've got problems with beaver. So I started trapping beaver, and I just turned into a beaver trapper because that's what's in my area. I stuck with it because being a beaver trapper I've got access to so much land, basically any farmland in my county and the counties surrounding me. I've got access to. So I can go in there and catch their beaver for them. And while I'm there, I can catch their coyotes, their cats, anything else I want to catch that's there, I can catch. So I seen where that was going to open an opportunity up for me to have access to all this land. And now I've got so much that I can't even get to it all because I'm the only person around here trapping beavers. Man, I'm doing a horrible job of keeping up, guys. There actually is, Robin. I'm trying to think. Sarah Gomez has a channel on YouTube. You guys help me out. There's several females that have got YouTube channels. I want to say at least 5 or 6. I just can't think of the names right now. I know Sarah Gomez is one of them. Girls Inc. maybe. You guys help me out. Tell Robin what those channels are. Yeah, niches and stitches. Yeah, cats are a problem, man. I think strays are going to be a bigger problem in the future because everybody has animals, and as prices of food and stuff keep rising, and people are going to start making cuts, they're going to have to cut that pet food. They're not going to be able to, they're going to be starving, have to cut their pet food. They're not going to be able to eat that pet. Therefore, they're just going to take that pet, turn it loose, and let it fend for itself. So I can see that being a problem in the future. Those stray animals. I'm the same way, Dallas. I just soon trap any more than I had deer hunt or duck hunt or any other outdoor activity. I absolutely love trapping. Yeah, 1985 river rat. Awesome, man. I'm glad you could join us. I'm going to try to do some more of these lives. Don't have any fur to put up tonight, so I figure we might as well get on here and chat a little bit. I'm having a hard time keeping up with the chat, but yeah, Robin, I tell you, I have no doubt you women can show us up when you set your minds to it. Yeah, that too, Judith. Judith and Dan. The right now, if you're trapping to make money, I mean, beaver. You want to be targeting beaver. They're probably some of the highest fur out there. You know, skunks, beaver. I think the otter is going to be about like it was last year, if not a little bit lower. I appreciate it, Ruger. I feel like I hadn't. It's odd just sitting here talking, reading y'all's comments, and not hearing anyone else talk. Uh, I'm not a big public guy or a big talker. You wouldn't imagine it, me doing these videos or doing this live. I pretty much keep to myself, but thanks for saying so. Hey, there's Silver Fox. Hey, buddy, thanks for joining us. Yeah, Sarah Gomez is one of the females. Lady Trapper, Trapping Chick. There we go. Thanks, guys. There's quite a few of them out there. Check them out. Robin. Yeah, David, I think they're partners somehow, Sarah and Jeff. Hey, Mark. Thanks for joining us, man. Hey, thanks for subbing. It's going good. Can't complain. Just well, nobody wants to hear me complain. I guess my biggest complaint is that I'm getting older every year. That would be my biggest complaint. Yeah, Robin, I live on a dead end road just outside of a major city, and we get stray animals all the time. And of course, me having I've got a cattle and chickens, and we got a little farm here that we live on. So those people dump those animals, and I'm usually the one that has to take care of those animals for them. And I tell you what, guys, I kill a lot of animals, trapping, keeping these animals under control. But to shoot a dog is the hardest thing for me to do. Now I've done it many a times because I've had to, uh, but yeah, it never is fun. Yeah, I really see it being a big problem, Ruger. I tell you what, back in the summer, I was coming home, driving down. There's a little turnoff that turns off of our road, and I looked up in there, and there's a brand new pet carrier sitting there. I mean, brand new, had the stickers on it and everything. Like, man, that's a nice pet carrier. I'm gonna jump out and grab it, take it to the house. Jump out, grab that pet carrier, and guess what's in it? A mama cat with 12 babies. Or actually, the mama cat wasn't even there. I think the door was open on it, so mama cat was probably gone, but 12 babies inside that thing. Someone just went and bought a brand new pet carrier to put this cat and her babies in their car to bring it out here in the county, set it off the side of the road. I tell you, I'm all people are so disappointing nowadays. Hey guys, with me just starting this channel up too. I see some of you guys have already made moderators, and I know they kind of keep the spam and stuff off the chat. Other than that, I don't know what they do. But if any of you guys are good with computers and understand how that works, let me know and I'll make you a moderator, and you can help out. Yeah, Judith and Dan, it's just in the past we trapped, we all put our fur up, we all shipped it to Canada to the big auctions, and now that's gone, that option's not there anymore. You have to get creative. There's still money to be made in trapping. Now you're not going to become rich. You're not going to go buy a new truck at the end of the season, but you can definitely pay for your gas and make a little extra money as you're doing it. You just have to be creative of it's not just fur anymore. You gotta split that animal into parts and sell it, and find you a meat market in your area if you can for the carcass. But there's still things that can be done. Ruger farming, I love dirt trapping too, man. There ain't nothing like setting a trap for a coyote or a bobcat, and then knowing there's a good opportunity you're going to show up the next morning, that thing's going to be bouncing in that trap. Man, I love it. I don't know if you saw that. I'm putting a few sets out just for my video to show some different sets and different things for these guys that hasn't ever done it before. Uh, but yeah, it's fun, man. It's fun pulling up there and seeing those things bouncing. I love it. I was going to actually put a bunch of dirt holes and a bunch of sets out for predators today, but they were calling for all this rain. I'm just going to hold off and do that later. Jonathan Roberts, uh, I haven't ever made a lure. I do save the glands out of the animals, and I've just used the whole gland as a lure as sets before. I've never sat down and made tinctures and put it together and tried to create a lure. Uh, I've mixed some stuff together. I do use my own bait. I mean, I catch beavers, and all predators like to eat beavers, so I do keep my beaver meat grinded up, and that's what I use as my predator bait. And I have added, I've mixed muskrat with beaver, bobcat with beaver. I've mixed it all together. I've added skunk essence to that bait. But yeah, to sit down and just actually to make my own stuff, I have not. Yeah, if you guys haven't checked out Muskrat, David talking about Muskrat Man Knives. If you guys haven't checked him out, if you're looking for custom leather work or custom gun holster, I mean, Cal can do anything, guys. I had a guy that rode with me last year that he had it set in his mind he wanted to catch every critter, so he started trapping. We caught him a skunk, he caught him a scoon, he caught him coyote, fox. He caught everything for his trophy room, and he wanted to get a hat made, a Daniel Boone hat made with a skunk, and I hooked him and Cal up together, and Cal made an awesome skunk hat and sent to this guy. So if you're looking to have something done, guys, and you don't know about him, not only does Muskrat Man Knives make awesome knives, I've got several of them, but he can create anything. So if you got an idea in your head and you're wanting it done, get a hold of Cal. I bet you Cal can help you out. And he's a stand up guy too, guys. Yeah, hawks are horrible here too. Silver fox. I always lose chickens every summer to hawks. Yeah, they're a big problem. I brought it up at our last meeting, but with it being federal law, you basically got to know one of your representatives or senators, and you need to write some to get something changed. I thought about doing it, but you basically got to type up a report, get with a senator. You got to have them bring it up. It's just ended up being too much hassle. I didn't want to deal with it. But yeah, they're a problem there. You can't drive down our highways without seeing a hawk sitting on every fence post. I mean, no lie, they're everywhere. I agree, Brad. Cats are horrible. I had some getting my chickens, and I had traps set. I thought it was a coon, and I pretty much keep the coons stand out here around the house. I had something getting my chickens, and I couldn't figure out what it was. 2 or 3 nights, I'd come out with a spotlight looking for it. Couldn't ever find any coons around. Wasn't catching any of my traps. And one night I come out with my light, and I seen a cat hunkered down, just as close as it could get to the ground, sneaking up to the chicken pen, and ended up being 2 of them, but they hadn't been a problem since. So I'm way behind on chat again, guys. Judith and Dan, check out Cal, man, that beaver tail wallet. He can do it. I'm actually going to have him. He's making some beaver tail sheaths for his knives that he's making. And I didn't know about it when I ordered my last knife, but I'm definitely going to be getting me some of those. They're pretty neat looking. Yeah, hides. If you can, I seen a post the other day on Facebook about like Renaissance fairs. If you got tan hides and you got a Renaissance fair or something like that in your area, uh, you can market those tan hides at those places and make some good money on them. Frank, I tell you, there's if you bought you a leather sewing machine and looking for a little side hustle or something, man, if you start making some of that stuff like that, uh, and there's a market for it. Everybody's catch trapping has, especially when COVID hit, there was a big upkick in trapping. A lot of people getting involved in it, putting fur up. A lot of people are always looking for places to market or different ways to do with their fur. A lot of guys, like I talked about earlier, the guy that I know that just wanted to get out and catch every animal to say he did it and then hang him up, hang it up in his trophy room. Man, that guy's going to want if he caught 5 or 6 coyotes enough to make a fur coat, and he heard about you making fur coats. I guarantee he's going to be calling you, say, "Hey, can you make me a fur coat?" I see there's a pretty good market there for it, and of course, as the economy gets worse, I think there's going to be more people look to trapping to secure a meat source, and they're going to want something to do with that fur too. I got a little girl coming out here visiting me. Hey, sissy. I'm chatting on the computer. You want to come say hi? You been eating ice cream?
No, just 4 weeks ago.
Huh?
Hi.
My daughter Kinsley, guys. You going to bed?
Can't sleep.
Can't sleep? Well, scroll over here and you can chat with these folks.
I'm here.
Oh, that's neat, Beth. That'd be cool. That's a cool find. It'd be they probably never going to come back for it. I'd put it to some use while you got it. I mean, you can just trade it out for a storage fee for them. Put it to use. Oh, no doubt. Horses to me have always seemed like, unless you ride them every day or you ride them to and from work, horse just seems like a money pit to me. Of course, they can be out on pasture, eat the same grass that my cows eat all year long. But then wintertime rolls around, that dried grass isn't good enough for them. They got to go buy that expensive hay, feed the horses all winter. Those meat trapper says hello, Kinsley.
Hi.
She's being shy. I don't know why. Everybody's saying hi. David and Ruger and Ottercat and Frank and Beth and Mark and Silver Fox. Oh, you got more attention than I did when I got on. It took like 20 minutes for everybody to get on there and say hi to me. Meat Trapper says, "Hey, Kinsley, you are a pretty good magician. You might watch your magic video." She likes doing those magic tricks. Who doesn't at that age, though? She's pretty good at it, too. You got any jokes to tell? She's always got riddles and jokes, too, guys.
I have a really long riddle.
A really long riddle. Y'all want to hear it?
Okay. So there's a plane with 500 bricks. 1 brick falls out. How many are left?
A plane with 500 bricks. 1 brick falls out. How many are left? 499.
Yeah. How do you put an elephant in a refrigerator?
I don't know.
You open the door, put the elephant in, and close the door.
Okay, that makes a big refrigerator, huh?
How do you put a giraffe in a fridge?
You open the door, put the giraffe in the fridge, and close the door.
Open the door, take the elephant out, put the giraffe in, and close the door.
I forgot the elephant was in there.
The Lion King's throwing a party. All the animals are there except one. Which one isn't there?
The Lion King animals are throwing a party. All of them are there but one animal. Well, I think the giraffe and the elephant were both gone.
The elephant's there because he's out of the fridge, but the giraffe isn't.
Oh, gosh.
Sally crosses a river full of alligators but makes it across safely. How?
I don't know. Sally.
The alligators are at the party.
Oh my
But
goodness.
yet she still dies. How?
She drowns. She can't swim.
The brick hits her in the head.
That's a long one.
Yeah, it's really long.
Thanks, guys. We are definitely blessed with this one right here. She is no trouble. Sometimes she's got an attitude and don't listen, but overall, we are blessed. She's a good kid. She likes to go with me on my trap line some too. I try to talk her into going with me tomorrow morning, but she wants to stay home with mom, so she's missing out. David said it was a gale. The gazelle was dinner. I think alligators ate the gazelle. Hey, you need to try to go to bed. It's almost 10 o'clock. Go in and lay down, okay?
I've been laying down for a while.
Take Dex with you because he's going to be sick after. She brought the dog with her. And the dog, of course, loves coming out here to the skinning shed. Dex, go. Get. Good night, sister. I love you. Everybody says good night. All right, guys. Sorry about that. Oh, I tell you what, Beth, she is always coming home with another joke or another riddle. She keeps us on our toes. Silver Fox, I hate it for you, man. I don't know. That's got to be hard. Got to be hard, man. Are you were talking on the Telegram about possibly getting to meet up here pretty soon? Her coming here, you going there? Is that still happening? Oh, that dog is always looking for a treat, Beth, and I don't mind for him eating some of these scraps, but the wife don't like it too much when he gets in the house and throws up. So I try to keep it under control a little bit. I'm always throwing beaver carcasses. When I get done with them, I throw them out in the back for the chickens to pick and clean. And of course, he knows what's going on. When I let him out of the house to pee, I always kind of keep an eye on him because I know those carcasses are out there and don't want him to get into them. And then Kinsley will let him out or something, and they don't necessarily think about that beaver carcass being out there. So a lot of times he's sneaking away trying to find my carcass pile for the chickens. Oh, I can't imagine, Robin. Life before kids, you done your thing, and then having a kid, you can't remember what life was like after them. And man, now she's growing up so fast. The years are going by so fast. We just leave for a weekend, come back home, and it looks like she's grown a year, Not just grown, but just her talking and her communication. It's just amazing how fast all that's progressing. Man, I hope all you guys going deer hunting tomorrow. Fill your freezers up. Man, if y'all hadn't ever canned a deer, I had a good buddy of mine that gave me a couple jars of hamburger meat that they canned, and then some deer that they processed, canned and pressure canned. Man, that's that first buck I killed. We put up that way, and that was amazing. I mean, it takes. I had a deer processing plant for a couple summers, and so I'm pretty good at processing deer. Cutting the muscles out, cutting the silver skin off, staking them up. I've got all the equipment right here in my shop to do that, and I do all my own deer. But that cannon, man, a couple of us just sit around the table, and you don't have to really worry so much with that silver skin or cutting the muscles out. I mean, you're just chunking that deer meat up into whatever size chunks you want, filling the jars up. So it was a lot faster process than then, staking it out, grinding it up. And once you get those jars filled, you fill that pressure canner up, an hour and a half, it's cooked, done, ready to pop the lid and eat. And it's like eating a pot roast. If you guys hadn't ever done that, I suggest look into it. I was really impressed with it. I like it. The family likes eating it. Don't have to have refrigeration to keep it on the shelf. It's really neat. It's some stuff. I'm going to do a lot more of it, harvesting deer. That is work, Ruger. That's why I don't kill any more deer than what I kill. Man, it's fun up until they hit the ground. You walk up to them, and then as soon as you start gutting them, cleaning them, dragging them, coating them, moving them, skinning them, putting them up, it's a long process. A lot of work. Yeah, Judith and Dan, the dogs love. I actually, my carcass piles that I made out on my trap line. I was actually went by one of them today and got out to the county road. And here come this huge lab. I mean, not like huge, big, just huge, fat, big fat. You tell he stays in the house and well taken care of. Comes just barreling up out of the ditch, up into the road, headed toward the house going home. And that ditch is leading right up to my carcass piles. And this is out in the middle of nowhere. But those dogs can find those beaver carcasses fast. Yeah, talking about markets and trying to market your beaver. A lot of guys in my area, I don't know of any market for it, but I know a lot of beaver trappers up north have a market for their beaver carcasses, selling it to, I guess, dog mushers and dog kennels as dog food. So they'll sell their carcasses to. That's another market that they have, is selling their carcasses to those people that raise dogs. Oh, Frank, cheese making, man. When I tell you what, I just don't have time to do a lot of that stuff, and of course, uh, we're more self sufficient than not, and it's something we grow every year, trying to get better, learn something new to be more efficient. But cheese making, somebody make a good homemade cheese is awesome. Uh, when I was over in Iraq, those locals that they made bread and cheese, and man, I tell you that I miss that. It's some good grub. We'd always have, which we were on base and couldn't leave. Out in the economy, we'd always have our interpreters and our local people go out and give them money to buy bread and cheese to bring back to us. And that was some fine eating there. Yeah, that's a good trick, David. Putting your grinder, even you don't have to even put the whole thing in there. You can just put your gear and your neck system. If your neck system, comes off of the machine itself, you can just put that whole system in the freezer before you're going to be doing some meat grinding, and it does help that. It does help that stuff getting wrapped around the gears. Same thing processing, cutting up. If you've got all your muscles and or your deer quartered or your cow or your pig, whatever you're putting up, if you got those muscles ready to do steaks, if you've got time, throw them in the freezer and let them chill. Not to a solid frozen, but to where they're chilled really good. That'll help you. It'll make it quicker cutting them up and processing them. When I was a kid, Ruger, we always put up a lot of deer. And kept we ate deer year round. I've got a cattle farm, so my freezer stays full. We put up a steer. We put up a steer or two a year, and so my freezer stays full of beef for a long time now. That's been the case, and honestly, I don't kill more deer than what I do because I've got a freezer full of beef. I really don't have a use for that deer meat. But saying that, I always like to get one or two because my family likes eating deer meat. That's the one wild game that they'll eat without, complaining about, is that deer meat. My beavers, I catch so many beavers and I throw away so many beaver carcasses. But man, beaver is one of the healthiest meats that a person can eat. And I always put up some young ones in the freezer every year just to have as a backup and have in there. And I eat them myself, but I can't get my wife and daughter to eat them. So there's not a reason to put a whole bunch of them up if they're not going to eat them right now. Ruger farming last year, I caught, I don't know 100% because I was keeping up with it on my phone notes and I dropped my phone in the water in the middle of the season. But I was right around 175 beaver last season. Meat Trapper, have a good night, man. Thanks for dropping in, and we'll catch you on Telegram. You guys if you guys don't know who the Meat Trapper is, go check out his YouTube channel. He's been doing YouTube videos for a long time, and I learned when I started trapping, Meat Trapper was one of the YouTube channels that I picked up on real quick that knew what he was talking about and had good information, and I didn't have to weed through. And anytime he posts a new video, I'm going to watch it just as soon as he gets it posted. Guys, he's doing a podcast too now, and he does a podcast every Sunday, puts a new podcast out. Go check his podcast out. It's some good stuff. Got a Patreon channel. If you guys don't know about it, go sign it. I think that Patreon channel, it's like $5 a month to get on it. And I think he's on like episode 3, over 300 episodes he's done. I guarantee that $5 that you're going to spend to get on that Patreon page is going to be worth it to you. Go back and listen to the stuff that he has to say. Some good stuff. Hey, Travis 9mm. Thanks, buddy. Who would have ever guessed this many people would be in here in the chat listening to me jabber? Appreciate you stopping in, man. Yeah, Frank, I've never ate bobcat, but everybody I talk to says bobcat's really good to eat. And a big reason I don't is don't eat more of that stuff is because my family just won't eat it. So there really ain't no need me put it up. Now if I get one, and I usually got a griddle out here in the shop with me, and I'll grind up some of my beaver when I get a chance into a burger meat. And while I'm out here, I've got a little hot plate that I keep out here, and I will fry me beaver burgers while I'm out here working. I'll just cook me up one of those beaver burgers, and that's what I'll have for lunch a lot of times. But if I ever get the hot plate out here and get me a bobcat, I sure will cut me a piece of meat off of it, throw it on the griddle, give it a try. Silver Fox. I mean, and to me, 100, and it's not even 1 year. It's one season. It's from November until into March, 1st of April. I don't trap during the summertime. I do a little bit of trapping in the summertime just for my local farmers if they've got an issue where I can go in and help them out real quick. But and there's just that many. There's that big of a population around here. Nobody else is trapping them. I'm the only trapper in my county that I know of that's trapping beavers for these farmers around here. Trying to help the nuisance trappers out. Judith and Dan, thanks for that tag. Thanks for throwing that up there. You guys check that channel out if you hadn't. Meat Trapper, a wealth of information on his YouTube channel and on his podcast. You do, Ruger, and that's a big issue, and that's why I wanted on my channel. I feel like I'm doing a good job of it. I want to keep it real. I mean, me falling down out there, me cutting my finger. I don't want to edit all that stuff out because the world's not perfect. It's always, you're always making mistakes and learning from them. No matter how long you studied a subject, you're still learning from it. So I want to keep my channel real. A lot of the channels out there, you do have to weed through and pick out the good channels. Meat Trapper's got a good channel, guys. Good for you, Silver Fox. I had no desire whatsoever unless it's into the world, I'm starving and I got nothing else to eat, do I want to try a coyote? Otter, same way. I had no desire to try an otter. I tell you that's the thing, Frank. With most of this stuff, I mean, the country was founded by trappers and families moving west. And what do you think those guys ate? What they could catch along the way? Uh, it's what the country was founded on. But nowadays, our society, it's a taboo to eat these animals. Uh, it's really strange. For thousands and thousands of years of society, people ate these animals. It's not until the last 7,500 years that it's been taboo. But yeah, if you can sneak it in to a family member without them knowing what it is, there's a good chance they're going to like it. Well, that is if you can cook, if you're a decent cook. If you're going to eat these animals, you got to make sure you get the glands out of them. Most animals got a gland under all their legs. They got glands in their neck, just different glands. Do some research on that animal you're wanting to cook. Process it. Just make sure you get those glands out of it. That's the big thing. That's a big mistake that a lot of people make when they try wild animals. They'll cook it with those glands in it, and that just gives it that off taste. Oh, Mark, I don't know about Western Kentucky, but the times I've been through there, I would say there's probably a pretty good population of beaver in Western Kentucky. I'd say the closer you get to the Mississippi River, you got the Ohio River coming through there, all those river systems that come through Western Kentucky. I would say it's probably got a pretty good beaver population. Ruger, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for saying so. I appreciate it. Ruger, are you close? Are you around the St. Louis, Missouri area? I know we've got another member that's on here right now that he's right there in that same area too. Yeah, Frank, I've heard that's a trick to coyotes. You really gotta season them up heavy. Okay, Northeast Missouri. I've got some family that lives. My wife's got a brother that lives up. Oh, what's the interstate that goes from? There's a pretty good sized town between Kansas City and St. Louis. A little interstate that goes north between the two. Right in the middle of the state, there's a pretty good city there. I can't even think of the name of it right now. I think there's a big distributing center there, maybe Midway USA. Is that where that's at? But just north of there, I can't think of the name of the town. That's where he lives. Okay, so you're a pretty good ways from St. Louis. I know that other member that's on here. He's not very far. David there. He's not very far outside of St. Louis. Well, quite a few Missouri guys on here. Columbia, I think that may be it. And then another little town north of that. I don't matter. Well, guys, thanks for everybody for stopping in. We've been at this for over an hour now. I just wanted to just enjoy chatting with other trappers, guys. It's pretty cool getting to get on here. Yeah, KY Prepper. We've got a lot of our counties in my area have got bounties, and you got my county's not one of them. Several of the counties surrounding me's got bounties, but man, I've never seen those bounties. it's hard to make them work correct. I mean, I know that there's tails coming in from other counties going in there getting paid for them. It's just hard to keep control over that. Mark, I guarantee you, if you can get in an area close to the Mississippi River, farm drainage ditches, major river system or major drainage system going through an area, and there's not somebody else on it trapping the beavers out, there's no doubt you can fill a truck up. That's why I'm hoping about going over to the river tomorrow in that boat, driving around for a little while. And I really feel like if a guy got over there and hammered him for about a week, he would come home with a whole bunch of fur. Ruger, to be honest with you, it's hard to find time to get on. I try to get on and support everybody's YouTube channels that support me. If I'm ever on here and I see a live, I try to jump on. But I'll watch for you, man. This live, I'm still learning. This is really the first long one. I sit down and just try to keep up with the chat, but I enjoy it. I'm gonna try to do some more of them, and I'll watch for you doing a chat and try to get on there and do one. Yeah, Columbia. That's it, David. I think Columbia is maybe that town I was thinking of. I don't know. Yeah, Judith, then we've got to here where we're at to get that bounty. You've got to go to the watershed district I'm not 100. I've never done it because we've not had it in my county, and I can't see driving to another county to do that. But I think we've got to go to the soil conservation district of that county. You've got to sign up with them. You got to have written consent from the property owner to take to the conservation district to get signed up with them. And this is in each county that you go to. You got to do this, and then you got to go. They usually have a set day every week, Friday or Thursday or whatever, where all the trappers bring their tails in. And then by my understanding, the guys that do it, a lot of times they run out of funds real quick, and you turn your tails in, but you can't even get money on spot. It seems like too big of a hassle for me. If my county done it, I would check into it, but it's not something I'm gonna really, I don't want to deal with it. Yeah, it's a small community, Beth. The trapping community really is. It's one of the smallest, probably outdoor communities there is. But I tell you what, anytime I went to nationals this year, and it was amazing to me. I don't like big groups of people or going places, but I really enjoyed taking my family up there to that. You just feel so welcome. Everybody you talk to is open arms, talking. It's just a really good community to be in. Mark, I appreciate it, man. I don't know how many videos I got, but I started recording January of this year, the end of my last season. And I've recorded just almost my goal was to record for 1 year of my season. And I've pretty well done that, stuck to the plan. So I appreciate the support. Thanks for the new sub. And yeah, man, get the word out. Have some people check out the videos. All right, guys, I'm going to get off here. Catch up real quick. Thanks, everybody, for joining. I'm going to try to do some more of these. And Iowa Trapper, a lot of you guys already know about him, but if you're on here and you don't, Iowa Trapper does a lot of live videos. Trapper Jay does a lot of live videos. A lot of his stuff is more kind of adult content. You might not want your kids watching it with you, but he does a lot of trappers. He's got a lot of followers. There's always a good chat on his channel. But Iowa Trapper does a lot of chats. There's a lot more out there too, guys. I just don't know of them because I'm not on here all the time. If you guys want to shout out some other people that do lives real quick, I'll hang in here for a minute just to let everybody know. I tell you what, Otter Cat, I had a little girl I was trying to keep up with, man. She was so excited about nationals. That day, I'm glad we planned on staying all 3 days because that day turned into being about her. In that kids, that day I run into you, she was excited about it, man. But she's always gone with me since she was a baby, so she didn't have any choice but to go with me, and always enjoyed it. I never push her to go, unless we don't have any other option, anyone else to watch her. But she always wants to go with me, and then normally when we start going, having fun, getting on catches, she gets in the mood and wants to go again. But that NTA kids cave that they had really got her excited about trapping. All right, guys. Thanks for the support. Thanks for everybody dropping in. We'll try to do some more of these if I can get caught up. Everybody have a great evening, and you guys will see me on the next video. Y'all have a good night.